getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics.
Hey,
That's
sorry.
QC Kinetics.
Looking, staring at my computer for 30 seconds while you guys are watching me stare at my computer for 30 seconds. Just about ready to start a Wednesday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to have you along. Appreciate you giving me your time. And we're going to hit it here as soon as we get the radio intro music, which is starting right now. Well, the momentum of the Trump administration gets more momentum last night. Late, the big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump wants to work through the House and Senate via reconciliation process, which would mean that it's not subjected to a filibuster, which it would be stalled by because, of course, you're not going to get 7 Democrats to side with the 53 Republicans in the Senate. The big, beautiful bill passed the House. Only one Republican, Thomas Massie, who's more of an independent than he is a Republican, although he caucuses with the Republicans. It passed last night, so kudos to Mike Johnson, who got the resolution through. It has the $4 million increase in the debt ceiling that Trump wanted, $300 billion for defense and border security spending, cuts of $1.5 trillion over the next 10 years, and an extension of the Trump tax cuts. So now the Senate bill that was a backup bill, which would have forced them to do this twice. You know, this is the big debate. Do we want one big, beautiful bill? That's how Trump has termed it. Or do we want 2 bills? Wouldn't be surprised if the Senate, they can't make any changes to the House bill and have it go through reconciliation. But they might just say, okay, we'll go with this. And if they get that done, by March the 1st. That'd be crazy good. And the momentum for the Trump administration would continue. Of course, the left hates it. They say that the bill last night cuts heavily into Medicaid, which is kind of funny because the word Medicaid is not in the bill anywhere. But they are predisposed to hate it. They hate everything the Trump administration does, as we saw yesterday when the White House announced that it would now take control of who gets on Air Force One and who gets to go into the Oval Office for Trump's press availabilities. They hate that because, of course, they do. But it is not any different, I don't think, than Joe Biden having a pre-approved list of people who are going to ask him questions, including the pictures of the people, the name, and the question. Right? Is anybody giving Trump a heads up on, hey, here's what CNN is going to ask, here's what Axios is going to ask, here's what Politico is going to ask? No, of course not. And by the way, we have some numbers out. Trump in his first, what was the cutoff? Anyway, Trump's answered over 1,000 questions from the media in his first month in office. Joe Biden in his first month in office answered 141 questions. Probably a lot of them like, what kind of ice cream did you have today, Mr. President? So we'll get into more of the new press rules, more on the budget. There are developments in Maine with the legislator, Republican, of course, who stood up for women's rights in sports, girls' rights in sports. She's the one who put the picture of the boy who won the girls' indoor pole vault, thus allowing his girls' track team. And again, he's a biological boy who placed in the boys' competition 2 years ago, but now he's a girl. Right. She got censured yesterday. Can you imagine? By the way, just picture in your mind the unhinged freakout that would ensue if Mike Johnson in the U.S. House of Representatives called, I don't know, pick one, Pramila Jayapal, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Ayanna Presley. If he called any of them forward, had them stand in front of him, like way below him because he's up above in his big chair of authority, and censured one of the squad members for their openly anti-Semitic views, how racist it is, and that they then would then be told in an open session of the U.S. Congress, you will no longer be allowed to speak until you apologize for what you have said. Can you imagine? We would have 24/7 unhinged rants on legacy media about, look at how they're embarrassing this woman. That's exactly what they did to Laurel Libby in the Maine legislature yesterday. They called her in front of them. They would not let her speak. And they told her she could not speak in the Maine House. In other words, could not represent the people who elected her to represent them. She cannot speak until she takes the picture down, which was a picture she found on Facebook. It's not like it was a private picture of the boy in the pole vault competition. We'll get into more of that as the day goes through. But let me ask you a question. These two stories are kind of tied together. The White House press pool, new access rules, and the Maine transgender story. So how many people would you say would have to congregate at the Ohio State House for a protest if you were the editor of the Columbus Dispatch for the protest to be deemed newsworthy? Like, how many people would you require to show up? It's a Tuesday night. It's a really nice night out last night. Beautiful night. 6 p.m. So we're after work. Okay. So that would raise the standard, I would think. And the number to know that in the Columbus metropolitan area, there are 2,180,000 residents. 2,180,000 residents. So, I mean, if I'm an editor, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, I'm going to need a certain percent. I'm going to need, I don't know, 5% of the population. Maybe I would lower it to 3% of the population. If I was being exceedingly gracious, I would say 2% of the population. Okay. Come on, Bruce. How about one? If you're going to go 2, you might as well go 1. Isn't 1 enough? Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll go 1. 1%. If you can get 1% of the people to show up on the State House lawn on a Tuesday night, a nice night, at 6 p.m. to protest, then we'll write about it in the Columbus Dispatch. In fact, we'll lead the website with it on a Wednesday morning. They got 120 people last night, which is, I think, if my phone is not lying to me on the math, is 0.000055% of the people. Take the first 2 zeros off, it's still like not even, it's not worth mentioning. Oh, but the Dispatch was there, and so was ABC 6. And I just want to read you the coverage. What are they mad about? What are they protesting? You didn't even tell me what they're protesting. Well, you know what they're protesting. Yesterday was the first day that the state law in Ohio went into effect that you have to use the bathroom in public spaces that aligns with your biological sex. And so, according to the Dispatch, more than 120 people gathered Tuesday evening at the Ohio State House and marched throughout downtown Columbus to protest a controversial new law mandating that K through 12 and college students use bathrooms and lockers that correspond to their sex assigned at birth. Okay, now, if it's a controversial law, why did you only get 0.000055% of the population to show up? It can't be that controversial if that's all that showed up. Not just the Dispatch. Let's read from the ABC 6 website. Parents of transgender children and LGBTQ plus advocates are voicing concerns over the enforcement of a new Ohio law requiring students to use bathrooms that align with their birth gender. Many fear the law. Many? 120? 120 is many? No, 120 is not many. Not with 2,180,000 people living in the Columbus metropolitan area. That's an embarrassing amount of people, given that the short north is a bastion of the LGBTQ persuasion, given that we have Equality Ohio and Kaleidoscope Youth Center and the Columbus City Council and the City Board of Education in Columbus Schools, all fully supportive of the LGBTQ plus community. And you can only get 120 people out there on the first day. That's telling, but not for the reasons that these news organizations are writing about it and publicizing it. They are writing and publicizing it because it's an agenda priority for them. It is not an agenda priority for the people of Central Ohio. And if you want to know how wrong-sided you are in this, I pray this never happens because I don't want to have to go downtown and protest if biological boys are given the right to be in any space they want to be in. But if you want to call down the wrath of the populace, just try and ingrain in law that boys can be in girls' spaces and boys can play girls' sports. Those of us who are opposed to that, who are not crazy and immoral and unhinged and detached from reality, have not had to go down to stand up for that because thankfully we have good legislators like Beth Lear and Michelle Reynolds and Jenna Powell and Gary Click and Brian Stewart and others, Andrew Brenner and others, who stand up for sanity. But I guarantee you, if you tried to go the opposite direction on that, 120 people, that would be a fraction.
Afternoon, couple of showers in the area. High today 58. Cloudy with some rain tonight, low 40. Clouds breezy and cool tomorrow. Brief afternoon shower soon, high at 46. For tomorrow night, it'll be breezy in the evening, partly cloudy, but the low 30. Clouds and sun, windy Friday, the high at 49. And then sunny clouds, breezy Saturday, the high 47. Sunny and cold Sunday, the high 35. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Larry Olga here, inviting you to join me on the Patriot Alaska Cruise this summer. A once-in-a-lifetime trip where patriotism and luxury meet. Picture this, you cruising through Alaska's stunning wilderness on a first-class luxury ship, surrounded by breathtaking glaciers and majestic mountains. Joining us will be Mike Gallagher, Jennifer Horn, and Joe Piscopo. But that's just the beginning. We sail August 16th through the 23rd through the last frontier. On board, you'll enjoy thought-provoking talks, exclusive events, and unforgettable memories with fellow patriots who share your conservative values. Text the word TRAVEL to 94878 to reserve your cabin today. This is more than just a cruise. It's a chance to engage with some of the most respected voices in conservative America while exploring one of the most beautiful places on earth. Space is limited, so do not wait to book your cabin. Text TRAVEL to 94878. That's TRAVEL to 94878. I'll see you on board, where patriotism, adventure, and luxury come together.
Are you feeling trapped by a timeshare you barely use? With fees piling up, creditors, and the stress of mounting interest, it's time to break free. At RFA Cancellation, they specialize in legally canceling timeshares. If you've received a maintenance fee bill and don't know what to do, you're not alone. Over 2,000 people hired RFA Cancellation last year, and they're no longer paying those fees this year. Imagine starting 2025 free from collections, daily calls, and endless bills. Whether your timeshare is sitting unused or you're overwhelmed by unexpected costs, they're here to help. Call RFA Cancellation today at 800-721-6919. That's 800-721-6919. Their friendly experts will guide you through every step, ensuring a smooth and stress-free process. Don't let another year go by. Get in touch and take the first step toward freedom. RFA Cancellation, your path to financial relief.
Hi everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-504-8790. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and thinks you deserve compensation, give us a call right now, 800-504-8790. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
Water. You rely on it daily. But what do you really know about it? There is so much more to H2O than you realize. Did you know that tap water provides us with a low-cost way to stay hydrated, public health and fire protection, and nearly every product that we use every day? The more you know about your H2O, the more there is to love. To learn more, visit drinktap.org. This message is brought to you by the American Water Works Association and your local water provider.
Get to 989theanswer.com and get your tickets before they are gone to the next station event. It will be Friday, April the 25th at Der Dutchman in Plain City. Whenever I talk to somebody about living in rural Plain City, they just go, oh, Der Dutchman. Yes, it is famous all over Central Ohio with good reason. Awesome buffet. That night, you will have your choice. Tossed salad, homemade bread, roasted chicken, roast beef, mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans, noodles, assorted pies for dessert. Drinks are included. And yes, there will be apple butter on the table for that delicious bread. But the main event, it's not the food for once at the Der Dutchman. The main event is Larry Elder is coming all the way from Los Angeles. Larry Elder coming to Central Ohio, and he will, I trust, navigate his way out to the hinterlands thanks to GPS and sit with me and Jack Windsor for a 1-hour discussion. The doors will open at 6 p.m. Dinner, 6:30 p.m. Yes, it's a buffet, so be coming hungry. 7 o'clock, we take the stage. Seating limited on a first-come, first-served basis. Get your tickets for Friday night, April the 25th, an evening with Larry Elder at 989theanswer.com. Donald Trump scheduled to hold his first cabinet meeting any time now in the White House. And yesterday, Trump, in one of his myriad media availabilities, was asked, I think Carolyn Levitt was asked actually, is Elon Musk going to go to the cabinet meeting? And she was like, yes, he will be there. Well, this, of course, sent the left into spasms of protest because, as you might have heard from the left, Elon Musk is not elected. Never mind the fact that, let's see, how many can I name? Howard Lutnick, head of commerce, not elected. Scott Bessent, head of treasury, not elected. Kash Patel, head of the FBI, not elected. John Radcliffe, head of the CIA, not elected. Pam Bondi, attorney general, not elected. Is that enough? You get the drift? Nobody in there was elected except for Donald Trump. Nevertheless, this provides endless fodder for the braying hounds on CNN. Scott Jennings exempted from that description of Abby Phillips and other nutcases who continue to bray about the fact that Elon Musk should not be anywhere near government because he was unelected. Allow Mr. Jennings to set them straight.
I would believe it if Joe Biden had unelected people running the government for the last year, maybe the last 4 years. Yeah, I believe every word of it.
You wouldn't be up in arms, Scott.
I was up in arms about it.
You
I think
and
there's a
Republican
difference if
members
it was
would be
George
up in arms.
Soros. I think that the example is not, obviously everyone has unelected people in that they appoint. The difference is if it was George Soros.
George Soros does have influence over Democrats. He collects your people like
He's not
Pokemon
a
cards.
cabinet.
Hold on, everybody hold on.
Yes, everybody hold on, Wolf Blitzer says, because Scott Jennings just had a mic drop moment. George Soros collects you people like Pokemon cards. Of course he does. And his son Alex takes pictures with you looking very uncomfortable in front of his penthouse view in New York City when you go there to kiss his ring. I seem to remember September of 2024, Joe Biden cabinet meeting, where Jill Biden was running the cabinet meeting. And no, I won't call her Dr. Jill Biden. And Hunter Biden attended a cabinet meeting. You think a cokehead, sex addict, train wreck of a person, at least at some junctures of his life, should be in a cabinet meeting where presumably high-level things are discussed? Did I miss the opposition to that from the left side of the aisle? No, there wasn't any. So, Elon Musk, come on into the cabinet meeting. He's probably smarter than anybody there. Now, I keep talking about the Israel situation because it is imperative in my eyes that we all get a full picture of how evil Hamas is, because the left just won't quit on this, talking about, oh, Donald Trump wants to resettle the people of Palestine. He has to do that. The Israelis cannot be expected. Imagine if the people from the state of Indiana or the people in Union County wanted to eradicate the earth, every citizen of Dublin, Ohio. Like, that's what it's like to live in Israel with Hamas ruling Palestine. So Hamas has got to go. So I keep talking about the heinous nature of Hamas and what they did. And there's nothing more heinous than the story of the Bibas family. Yesterday was the funeral for Shiri Bibas, the mother, and her sons, Ariel and Kafir, who were 4 years old and 8 months old when they were abducted with the husband, Yarden Bibas. I've since come to find out that Shiri Bibas's parents were also kidnapped and killed by Hamas. So this poor guy, Yarden Bibas, lost his wife, his sons, and his in-laws, and he was held hostage by Hamas for over 500 days. They let him loose. They murdered the children with their bare hands. They first sent the mom back. No. They first sent another woman back in a casket, which the keys they gave to the Red Cross did not open the casket. Why did they let the father live? No doubt to inflict a most possible emotional pain on him, killing his wife, killing his children, not giving the right keys to open the caskets so the identities could be verified, killed his in-laws. So yesterday, Yarden Bibas gave the eulogy for his wife and sons. I just want to share with you what he had to say, because it is imperative. You see, if you see any knuckleheads waving their Palestinian flags, adorned with their keffiyehs, stupid black and white scarves they wear, free Palestine. Here's what Yarden Bibas said yesterday, talking to his wife. Do you remember our last decision together? We were in the safe room. I asked if we should fight or surrender. You said fight, so I fought. Shiri, I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you all. Please watch over me. Protect me from bad decisions. Shield me from harmful things and protect me from myself. Guard me so I don't sink into darkness. To his 4-year-old son, Ariel, Yarden said, his father said, you transformed us into a family. You taught me what truly matters in life and about responsibility. The day you were born, I matured instantly because of you. How many of us have felt that way? First time we held our first child in our arms. Changes everything, right? It's the only thing in life where people tell you it'll change your life, and they're not wrong, but it's not even close to what you really feel. He went on, you taught me so much about myself, and I want to thank you. And then he said, I hope you are not angry with me for failing to protect you properly and for not being there for you. I hope you know I thought about you every day, every minute. And then to his 8-month-old Kafir, he said, I didn't think our family could be more perfect, and then you came and made it even more perfect. I remember your birth. I remember during the delivery when the midwife suddenly stopped everything. We were frightened and thought something was wrong. But she stopped just to tell us we had another redhead. Mom and I laughed and rejoiced. So when you hear people say that it is a wrong decision to be harsh toward Palestinians, children in Palestine celebrate the death of children in Israel. It's not wrong. They've got to be eradicated.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Iran has stepped up production of near weapons-grade uranium, according to a report by the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency, which says it is of serious concern. The measles outbreak in West Texas has turned deadly. An infected person has died in the hospital. 124 cases of measles reported across 9 rural counties in West Texas. President Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed the House, a massive budget blueprint. It includes trillions in tax relief and spending cuts. All Democrats voting no on the bill, along with one Republican. With Florida Governor Ron DeSantis unable to seek re-election because of term limits, Republican Congressman Byron Donalds has announced that he is running for governor of Florida, and he's already been endorsed by President Trump. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 133 points. More details, srnnews.com.
For many out on the streets with no address, when the hope dies, it's hard to be found.
You get these people off our streets now.
It's not that simple. They're human beings. Where are they meant to go?
Homelessness could happen to anyone.
I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Their story is our story.
You never know in life how things work out the way they do. Never give up.
No Address, starring William Baldwin, Ashanti, and Ty Pennington. In theaters this Friday. Get your tickets at noaddressmovie.com.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save families up to $500 a month, and obviously that's a big deal, but they like it too, especially being part of something that reflects their values instead of working against them. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. Find out more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34.
He's consistently ranked by industry trades as one of the country's top radio morning hosts. He's Chris DeGaulle, and you can hear him weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Hi, this is Ralph Drollinger, the founder and president of Capital Ministries. I have the privilege of leading the Senate and House member Bible studies in Washington, D.C. every week. And I'm also the host of the new weekly radio program heard here on this station called Capital Ministries Weekend. I invite you to listen along every week as we discuss the crossroads between what the Bible says and political thought for today.
Listen to Capital Ministries Weekend, Sunday mornings at 7:30 on 98.9 FM The Answer.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer. Anywhere you go with The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
MyPillow.com prices afford you the best get-in price across the board as ever before. They are calling it their first ever mega sale, which to me, when I first saw the copy, I was like, everything's always on sale at MyPillow, isn't it? Yes, but now everything's on sale at the lowest prices. Oh, promotional prices sometimes on something like, for instance, the standard MyPillow, it's under $15 and you get in. But you'll not find that in the past paired up with low prices like now, where the 6-piece towel sets are under $30 at the same time, where Giza Dream bed sheets queen size are under $60. This is what sets this sale from MyPillow apart. And what sets MyPillow apart is they stand behind their products. They are revolutionary, durable. I've had my MyPillow for 8 years. I didn't pay less than $20 for it. I paid $80 for it, and it's worth every penny. But you'll pay under $20 now because Mike Lindell has been canceled by big box stores, and so he's passed that savings on to you. Shop at MyPillow.com and use my promo code Bruce. MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce. I'll have more to say about this a little bit later on in the show, but I had a really wonderful morning. I faced down a delightful group of young people at Sells Middle School in Dublin. Shout out to, I'm going to guess maybe 40 young people in there, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, who were up early and willing to come out and listen to me talk with them about my faith in Jesus Christ as my Savior. They prioritized that in their lives. It was interesting. We were in the art room and there was a big fish on the wall, and the fish said, don't be afraid to swim upstream. And I said, you guys are swimming upstream. And I just applaud their courage in being out there. They were attentive. They were so polite, and the adults were amazing. Shout out to everybody that I've been out there. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show, but it was really heartening to see. Did you see the near crash at Midway Airport yesterday of a Southwest Airlines flight and a private jet? That was not fun to see. Here's the air traffic control tower talking to the private jet, telling him to stop before he crosses the runway where the big Southwest Airlines jumbo jet was in the process of landing. And I mean in the process by like wheels almost on the ground, when the private jet, and it was a pretty good sized private jet, crossed the runway, causing the Southwest Airlines pilot to yank back on the controls and avoid the accident. But here's how it sounded from the tower.
Section 560, turn left on runway 4 left, cross runway 31 left, and hold short of runway 31 center.
Hold.
On 2.4 left, cross the 22 or 13 center. Flex at 560. Mission 560 negative. Cross runway 31 left. Hold short runway 31 center. Cross 31 left. Hold short 31 center. Flex at 560.
So he got it the second time. He still didn't stop. He still did not stop. And the Southwest Airlines pilot was paying attention. He was off to his left. It could have missed him. Would have been catastrophic. Here is one of the passengers on the Southwest Airlines flight talking about what he experienced as he was sitting in the cockpit. I mean, or not in the cockpit, in the passenger area. I mean, they're not going to come on and say, "Woo, that was a close one."
Thrusters going, and we're back in the air. Kind of viewed it as a non-event. Something happened, no big deal. I'm like, son of a gun, what's going on now? But didn't realize the magnitude of the situation until you saw the actual video footage.
That's happened to me before in fog. This was a perfectly sunny day yesterday. There's no excuse for what happened yesterday. We had a Delta Airlines flight fill up with smoke a couple of days ago. Had to return to Atlanta. And we obviously had the accident in Philadelphia and the one over Reagan National and the one that flipped upside down in Toronto. So we're on a bad streak here with aviation. And the lefties will tell you, oh, sure, because Trump fired 300%. No, not why. They didn't fire any air traffic controllers. In fact, they're trying to get rid of bad air traffic controllers and bad pilots. This is DEI coming home to roost. When you employ people based upon their immutable characteristics rather than their qualifications, eventually, not immediately, but eventually, you're going to experience problems. And we are now seeing, it certainly seems to me, the advent of those problems. It's a wild situation. In Lancaster, they had 2 people shot to death yesterday. Another 2 people wounded. So they're investigating that. Don't have names on the people yet, but they were shot to death in Lancaster. That's not an everyday occurrence in Lancaster. In Columbus, that'd be like, oh, hum, just another day. But certainly not in Lancaster. So we wish the police well in finding that, and we hope that all who are wounded and are recuperating right now come through that experience okay. I do not wish the same for former FBI Director James Comey. Now, we all know James Comey did not like Donald Trump, right? He went to the White House early on when Trump was elected in 2017. He tried to entrap Trump on the whole, how do I say this tastefully on the air? Supposedly Trump cavorting with hookers in Moscow And Comey was on a fishing expedition, and then he went down to his car and he wrote down everything so that he could, try to undermine Trump. And they went after Michael Flynn, and they framed Michael Flynn. James Comey's, for a long time, been an opponent of Donald Trump and somebody who tried and undermined Trump at every turn and was finally fired by Trump. Here's Comey while Trump was running for re-election in this past campaign, talking with CNN about, oh my goodness, what will happen to the FBI if Donald Trump returns to the White House?
Are you concerned that it may get a test unlike any other if Donald Trump is reelected? I mean, when you think about a second Trump administration, what do you think the implications would be for the FBI?
Oh, serious. For the Justice Department and the FBI, because Trump is coming for those institutions. He knows their power, and I think he has regrets that he didn't work hard enough to corrupt them last time. So he's coming for them, and that's a danger for all Americans. He's going to put people in positions in those organizations. He didn't have all-stars the last time. He'll have the bottom of the barrel this time, but people who will want to do his will, and that should worry every American. This election matters because of a reason like that. People have to participate. You cannot sit on the sideline. I don't care how you feel about Joe Biden, you must vote for him because the consequences on the other side are too severe.
Well, let's hope you're right. And let's hope those consequences apply to you, because guess what? Kash Patel, now Dan Bongino, and others at the FBI are supposedly investigating. Oh, an off-the-books investigation greenlit and directed by former FBI Director James Comey, who tapped two apparently physically attractive female agents to infiltrate President Donald Trump's first presidential campaign. This alleged scheme was disclosed by an FBI whistleblower last year in a protected disclosure to the House Judiciary Committee. Jim Jordan's on that. The Washington Times reports that the goal of the investigation was to entice targets and gain information from them. In other words, sleep with them, get them to tell things that the FBI could then investigate Trump for. The whistleblower alleged that the two women who worked at the FBI went undercover and infiltrated Trump's campaign. The whistleblower alleged that Comey, quote, personally knew and personally directed the operation targeting the Trump campaign in an attempt to find any incriminating evidence that they could use against Trump to open another investigation. Quoting from the whistleblower's report, the case had no predicated foundation. So Comey personally directed the investigation without creating an official case file in any FBI system. The FBI has multiple methods of protecting highly sensitive investigations. So Comey did not have a legitimate reason not to officially create an official investigation file or have an official file number. This is treason, is what this is. And now you may have a little bit more of a window into why James Comey and people like Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and others at the FBI, when they said they had like, oh, don't worry, we've got backup plans, we've got ways to stop this guy, he's not going to get away with anything. Remember when Chuck Schumer said prior to Trump taking office, I wouldn't take on the deep state. They've got 6 ways to Sunday of coming after you. This is going to add to the long, extensive list of things that Trump alleged. Remember when he said they're spying on my campaign? I was like, spied on your campaign? What are you, crazy? No, he wasn't crazy. This is lawlessness from our supposed top law enforcement agency. Hopefully Kash Patel, Dan Bongino will get to the bottom of this, but there have to be consequences for this kind of stuff. Otherwise, you'll never stop it.
Times of clouds and sun this afternoon, a couple of showers in the area. High today 58, cloudy with some rain tonight, low 40. Clouds breezy and cool tomorrow, brief afternoon shower or two, the high at 46. For tomorrow night, it'll be breezy in the evening, partly cloudy with a low 30. Clouds and sun, windy Friday, the high at 49. And then sunny clouds and breezy Saturday, the high 47. Sunny and cold Sunday, the high 35. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
This is Josh Pick with Aptus Wealth Management. The U.S. and the world have certainly changed a lot in the last few years. We're facing money dangers that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. Inflation continues to be a problem. Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. You are not helpless, and there are ways to gain back control. At Aptus, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation. Whether you have never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
3 years ago, I wrapped up a run of Annie playing Daddy Warbucks with the South Carolina Children's Theater. I was about 50 pounds overweight, tired, sick, fed up with the way I felt. Hey, it's Mike Gallagher. I decided to do something, so I scheduled my weight loss consultation with PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. As they say, the rest is history. Just a few months, I'd lost 53 pounds. I got control of my health. 3 years later, I've kept the weight off, and I feel better than ever. Call 864-502-1777. If you are where I was, do what I did. Call PhD Weight Loss. It'll change your life. It's fast, it's simple. They won't let you fail. Just give them a call, 864-502-1777. Schedule your weight loss consultation, 864-502-1777. Here's the best part. The first 11 callers who mention the word healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Don't wait. Call 864-502-1777. Mention healthy to get 2 free weeks, or visit them online, myphdweightloss.com.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-504-8790. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-504-8790. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-504-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
What does a waterfall have to do with a... How do mountains relate to? How is a... Anything like? What's the similarity between... And... The answer is they are all parks, because the National Park Service isn't just about unspoiled nature. It's also about history, recreation, remembrance, and so many other things. Find out what a park can be to you at findyourpark.com.
Flooring is something I enjoy doing when I'm not here on the air at 98.9 The Answer. If you have an inclination to reduce some of the flooring in your home, maybe all of it, new carpet, time for new carpet? Is it time for a conversion of a high traffic space where your carpet is worn out, but you want something more durable than carpet? Well, we have luxury vinyl plank flooring, I think of like 8 different lines, and the product just keeps getting better and better and better. More waterproof, more of a protective coating on it. You can't scratch it or dent it. If they send a wire brush with the store display, you know it's a very durable product. So you won't have to worry about it like hardwood, where you scratch it by scooching a chair across it the wrong way, or trying to move your refrigerator or your stove in the kitchen. It's perfect for mud rooms. Love to help you with your projects. Go to brucehooley.com and click the flooring tab. Leave your information. I'll reach out to you. I'll come visit you in your home, measure your space, tell you about our product lines. You'll save money. You'll get your product installed faster. I can tell you why when we meet. brucehooley.com, click flooring. brucehooley.com, click flooring. So when I prep for the show in the morning, the first thing I do is I look at the dispatch, because I like to know what the enemy's doing. and it's rare that I find something somewhere else after I locate what I located initially today. Initially today, I told you at the top of the show, the dispatch wrote a long, extensive story about the 120 people who showed up at the State House last night to protest the enactment of the bathroom bill in Ohio, Senate Bill 104, that stipulates that you use the bathroom that aligns with your biological sex. Yes, I know you want to take questions no one would have asked 10 years ago for 1,000, Bruce. Yes, that is one. We would have needed Senate Bill 104 10 years ago. It would have been ridiculous to even contemplate. But we now have it. And so they had 120 people, which, as I pointed out, given the population of the Central Ohio area, metropolitan Columbus, 2.2 million people, that is 120 is exactly 0.000055% of the population. Okay, so I didn't think I could top that in stupidity, but I was wrong, because I went to the editorial page, and the Ohio University journalism faculty has penned an editorial. The first two paragraphs made me bust out laughing. Here they are. The Associated Press, they're upset that the White House yesterday announced new rules for the White House press corps. Which essentially the Trump administration is going to decide now who gets access to the Oval Office and who gets access to Air Force One. Not like the Biden administration, which wouldn't let James Rosen of Newsmax ask a question for 2 years after he fell all over himself apologizing to Biden before saying, essentially, how can the people of the United States of America have any reasonable degree of certainty that you're not insane or demented or senile? He didn't ask it that way, but my apologies, Mr. President, but blah, 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 blah. No soup for you, James Rosen. For 2 years, he didn't get to answer a question. Nobody said anything about that on the left. But now, because Trump renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, and the AP, the Associated Press, more like Associated Propaganda, is refusing to acknowledge in its high and mighty style book, which is basically the Bible for all of our newspapers. If you're going to write about a topic, here's how you write about it, blah, blah, blah. Here's how you refer to it. The AP style book went off the deep end of common sense years ago. You cannot call an illegal alien an illegal alien. You cannot call them an illegal border crosser. You cannot call them illegal in any way. You have to call them undocumented. Back when Biden proposed packing the Supreme Court, the AP style book said that that should be referred to as the Democrats' efforts to depoliticize the court. Not pack the court, depoliticize the court. They said that the riots in 2020 were to be referred to as mostly peaceful. Okay, so this is who you're dealing with at the AP. Keep that in mind as I read you the first two paragraphs of this editorial from the journalism faculty at Ohio University, which, you know, back in the day had a pretty good reputation. I got some buddies who went there, but this is just insane what they wrote. The Associated Press is objectively held up as one of the most ideologically neutral, fact-based sources of news in the United States and across the free world. No, no, and no. It used to be, not anymore, because of the aforementioned depoliticize the court, mostly peaceful protests, illegal, undocumented, sorry, I violated the style book. Second paragraph. Only radical ideologues and corrupt despots find fault with the AP's devotion to objectivity in its role as a government watchdog. Wow. Brag on yourself much? Which am I, a radical ideologue or a corrupt despot? Because I find your coverage to be a joke. So they're mad about it. Peter Baker, New York Times, mad about it. A bunch of organizations have come to the defense of the AP. Unfortunately for the AP, A judge has ruled that there's been no harm suffered since they still have access to everything that happens at the White House. And I'm just going to say, AP, if you want to get back in the good graces of the White House, refer to it as the Gulf of America. That's all you have to do. Problem solved. But you don't want to do that. The official name of it, according to the United States government, is the Gulf of America. I can remember back in the day when the official position of the Associated Press was, and I didn't want to write down the official name of a bowl game because it had a sponsor name in it, and I thought that was stupid, and I was giving them free publicity in my newspaper. No, you have to write the sponsor name because it's the official name. Well, the official name of the Gulf of America is the Gulf of America. It's not the Gulf of Mexico. So fool around and find out. Now, Donald Trump yesterday at the White House gloated a little bit about the new White House press rules. Here he is doing that.
We're going to be now calling those shots. You know, we won that lawsuit right there. See, the Gulf of America, which is a beautiful name. Most people agree. I don't know. It's, you know, AP has been terrible. I think they're radical left. I think they're third-rate reporters. I know the specific young lady that works on the account is terrible. She's a radical left lunatic, as far as I'm concerned. They don't treat us fairly. That's number one. And number two, they had no right to do that.
So Trump was not done gloating. Here he is signing an executive order, which his aide describes before Trump applies his signature.
At the outset of your administration, sir, you committed to ending the weaponization of government, to holding those accountable who participated in the weaponization of government.
Hold it. This is a good one. Is everybody listening? Deranged Jack Smith. We're going to call it the Deranged Jack Smith signing for bill.
One law firm that provided pro bono legal services to the special counsel's office under Jack Smith's leadership was Covington and Burling. As a result of those actions, we're now going to be suspending and putting under review the security clearances for the attorneys and employees at that firm who worked with Jack Smith's team. And we're going to continue holding the people who were responsible for the weaponization of government, who supported it, accountable for what they did.
And you'll be doing this with other firms as time goes by, right?
We're looking at sort of the whole panoply of options.
The weaponization of our system by law firms, even pro bono work they're doing just in order to clog up government, stop government. And nobody knows about it more than me. And hopefully that'll never happen again.
Mr. President, may I ask you a question about Europe? So long term, do you plan to maintain the number of U.S. troops
Wait, I just want to
stationed?
savor this one, please. Who would like this pen? Hey, why don't you send it to Jack Smith? A deranged person.
Oh, that's such an own. Such an own of Jack Smith. Mr. President, can I ask you a question? No, I want to say, I want to savor this. Don't interrupt me. Here's a pen. Give it to Jack Smith. He's corrupt, you know. I should know. I do know. Yes, we all know. Jack Smith. Hope you're embarrassed wherever you are.
Hi, I'm Paul George with Keller Williams Greater Columbus Realty, host of the Paul George Real Estate Show, broadcasting every Saturday morning at 8 a.m.
I like imitating Trump. I don't know if I'm any good at it, but I have fun doing it. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Anybody staying up tonight to watch Ohio State basketball? What, are you a masochist? Stay up and watch them tonight. 10:30. I'm going to go to bed at 12:30 after a 4 straight loss. Maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe I'll jinx USC by saying that. I hope so. Not quite as much pageantry USC Ohio State basketball as there is USC Ohio State football. I long to be good in basketball. We're years away from that, unfortunately. Have a great day. And by the way, shout out to Sells Middle School. I had so much fun with you kids today. You were awesome. Appreciate the attention. Great kids.